how many times we gonna act like having multiple women ain't in a man's nature?
It is in man's sin nature to desire multiple women or multiple wives. And it's all here in the Bible. Let's get to it. So in Genesis 4, it's all about Cain and Abel. But wait, let's first go to Genesis 3. So in Genesis 3, God have already created the earth, and he created the first man, Adam, and his wife, Eve. So God placed Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. And God tell them that they can eat from any tree, but he commanded them not to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And at this time, we know that evil is already in the land because this is after the fall of Satan. Because Satan is the one who tempted Eve to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and she didn't give it to Adam, and he sinned and disobeyed God. And as a result, God banned them from the Garden of Eden. So we know that Satan is in the land, and we know that the first act of disobedience is in the land now. And so Adam and Eve is now open to the knowledge of good and evil. And that's where the sin nature come into play. And we know that sin have now broken their close relationship with God. Disobedience is sin, and it break our fellowship with God. So they are no longer living in paradise where God provided everything for them. So because of their disobedience, Adam and Eve Now, because of their disobedience, Adam and Eve have now broke their close relationship with God and now is in a state of sin. And they are driven out of the Garden of Eden, which represent the presence of God. Adam and Eve act of disobedience have brought sin into the human race. It is not God's original intent to have the human race in a state of sin. And the fall from God's gracious presence affected all of creation. Stay with me now, I'm getting there. Adam and Eve have relations like married people are supposed to do, and they have children. So Genesis 4 talks about Cain and Abel. These are Adam and Eve's sons. And now Cain become angry with Abel and unalive him. Now you have the first unenlivening in the land. And because of Adam and Eve disobedient, the sin nature have now developed in their children. Stay with me, I'm getting there, I promise. And now because of Cain's sin, God have to drive him from his father's land. So Genesis 4:13, this is Cain saying what he said to the Lord. My punishment is more than I can bear. Today you are driving me from the land, and I will be hidden from your presence. And so now you continue to have sin in the land, and they are getting farther and farther away from the presence of God. Cain was not able to master his sin, and we as humans are not able to master our own sin. We need God in every way. So let's get back to the point. So in Genesis 4:19, Cain great 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 Cain great 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 grandson is the first man to ever have two wives. And there's so much evil and sin and violence in the land at this time. And there's another unenlivened in Cain bloodline. And the second unenlivened happened to be by the grandson who had the two wives. So that sin nature or that desire to have multiple people or multiple partners come from a bloodline that unalive people, their own family. It's not God's desire for you to have multiple partners. But when you become born again, you trust God to help you with those desires and you to your flesh. It's not natural to desire multiple people. God said the two to join together to become one. He didn't say the three should become one or the four should become one. It is the enemy plan to make the wrong things seem more attractive than the right thing. So you will want the wrong things more than you will want the right thing. So again, it is in your sin nature, but it is not natural.